Well, a very good morning and welcome back to Ulaanbaatar and the third and final day of competition at the Ulaanbaatar Grand-Prix 2016. And it's actually a very good afternoon here because it's already 1 o'clock. We're into the afternoon. We've got 5 weight categories to bring you today, and as usual we're going to take a look at the top 4 seeds in each of those weight categories. We've got 3 men's, the under 90, under 100 and plus 100 kilo categories, and 2 women's weight categories, the under 78 and plus 78. Let's start by taking a look at the number 1 seed in the under 90 kilo category, and it's the defending champion and bronze medalist from the Paris Grand Slam, Chinggis Ulaanbaatar of Mongolia. Now, he should have been coming up against the number 2 seed, the Olympic silver medalist from London in the under 90 kilo category, Ashley Gonzalez. Unfortunately, the Cuban team were late in arrival, and as a result of that, a couple of them had difficulty in making the weight, so unfortunately they are out of the competition. That is to say, those that needed to make weight. Ashley Gonzalez is one of them. We'll see the Olympic champion, Idalis Ortiz, because it didn't really matter about her. That's the number 2 seed. The number 3 seed is Gantolga Altenbanger. He's the number 3 seed. And at number 4, it's Bu Rigida of China. Right, let's take a look at the top 4 seeds in the under 100 kilo category. It should have been Jose Armenteros, but we've already explained about the Cubans there. The silver medalist from the World Championship will be missing. The number 2 seed, Bayar Saikan Ambasalama of Mongolia. Number 3, Otbatar Kangal of Mongolia. And the number 4 seed, another Mongolian, Dashdalum Ishdorj. Right, I'm going to give you all 5 of the heavyweights because there are only 5 of them in there anyway. It's Ulzibaya Derenbaya, Bolparev Sugarjagul, Dmitry Shterkov of Russia, Batulga Temolen of Mongolia, and Erdenbelig Amatufshin of Mongolia. That's the 5 fighters in the plus 100 kilo category. Let's take a look at the top 4 seeds in the under 78 kilo category. The number 1 seed is Purevjagul Khlamded of Mongolia. Number 2, Park Eugene of Korea. Number 3, Brigita Matic of Croatia. And number 4, Munk Erdana Uganjagul of Mongolia. That's the under 78 kilo category. Finally, the plus 78 kilo category, we've got the Olympic champion making an appearance here, Idalis Ortiz of Cuba. The number 2 is Odku Javsma of Mongolia. Number 3 is Ekaterina Sheremetova of Russia. And the number 4 is Batolga Munktuya of Mongolia. There you go. That's a rundown of the top 4 seeds in the 5 weight categories that we've got to bring to you today. Judo on 2 mats. You can choose whichever of the mats you want to watch. Just click on 1 if you want to watch 1 and 2 if you want to watch 2. Nice and simple. We're going to start by taking a look at the contests in the under 90 kilo category, and the opening contest features Batsaikan Chinggis of Mongolia. He's up against Evgeny Ivanov of Russia. It'll be Batsaikan in the white judogi and Ivanov in blue. Haven't seen any of Ivanov, to be honest. And you haven't seen Batsaikan either. Ivanov is 23, that's what I'll tell you about him. Look for the left Uchimata, and thinking about it again, not as determined as he might have been. Sort of stuck a left leg in there and was hoping for the best. But Saikan almost coming up with a turnover. Not quite. Beautiful hot day outside. And a trickle of people coming in. It normally picks up after about half an hour or so. It might be wise to give the combination a go there. He's managing to get in there for the Uchimata. He can't complete, but it might be an idea to come up with the Uchimata Ojigari combination. Might reap some rewards with that. Uchimata again. Haven't seen anything from Batsai Khan as yet, and he's picked up the Shido for passivity. A little bit untidy there from Ivanov, stepping off the area. He's managed to get away with it. Picks up a Yuko from the Sumigeishi, however. And that's the lead after 2 minutes. But Saikan looks particularly vulnerable to those left-sided efforts from Ivanov. I think a slightly more skillful fighter, should I put it that way, may have already turned him over. Picks up a second penalty. Maybe that'll galvanise him into action. We'll see. Thought about going to the Sumigeishi again. He did have a little stab at the Ojigari, but he's not convincing. Not determined enough. Slightly tired now as well. With over 2 minutes left to go, and now Batsai Khan appears to be, well, up to the task now. Maybe his fitness levels are better than those of his opponent, Evgeny Ivanov, and he may begin to overpower him because Ivanov is finding it difficult to get to his feet and back to his start point. Yeah, I think anything is going to take Ivanov over now. You know, a really good effort, a really good, strong effort, and Ivanov will go over. Whether Batsai Khan has actually got that in his armoury, I don't know. I haven't seen him before. This has come at absolutely the right time for Ivanov. He was desperate for a rest. He really was looking drained. It's given him a chance to get his breath back, minute and a half, but Batsai Khan should overpower Ivanov now. Only a Yuko on the board for Ivanov. It's not going to be enough here. So Temiwaza again, but it's really taking it out of him. There's still a minute 20 left to go. Batsaikan has begun to feel this, or sense just what's happening here. Misses with his Uchimata effort. Misses again. Almost catches him. Better to stand up. Minute to go. Ivanov beginning to struggle here. He could also pick up a passivity penalty. He hasn't done anything recently. He lets him off. 2 scores on the board. What for? Bit about her there. Batsaikan can't let this slip. Maybe he does. He hasn't got really any. Doesn't deserve to be in the Mongolian team. They should have put better fighters out than that. Well, it's Ivanov who's wandered off there. No, there's just a 1 score on there. It should be. He picks up the Shido as well now. Got to go for it here, Batsaikan. Yeah, beautifully done. And it was a question of really 2 mediocre fighters there, and Ivanov proved the better of the 2. Batsaikan, I think the phrase is flattered to deceive. You know, you get that Mongolia badge on your chest, and chances are you can do something. Well, unfortunately, I know it's harsh, but he offered up almost nothing. And Ivanov, when he looked as though he was out on his feet, even then, Batsaikan couldn't take advantage of that situation. So, a disappointing effort from Batsaikan. Chinggis and Yevgeny Ivanov goes into the quarter-final. Be interesting to see who he's got to face there. Oh dear. It's the number 1 seed, Klagvasur Ulaanbaatar. Right, coming up next, we're going to see the first of the contests in the under 100 kilo category. Dashtulam Ishdorj of Mongolia faces Na Ri-Su of China. It's Dashtulam or Dashtulam in white, Na in blue. See what these 2 can offer up then. Two fighters just getting settled down and looking for a grip from which they can work. No. Attempted the Marote Serenagi there, but he didn't actually get everything in place, so he misses out there. Ma doesn't have the coach in his chair. It's not because the jacket's off. Yeah, it's not because there was anything wrong with his gi. It was because his coach, there's only one coach, and he's coaching on the other mat, Eri Hemubatu, who's leading by Rosario. That's a scoreboard. That's from the other contest. No score in this one. 3 minutes left to go. Unorthodox grip for a moment there from Na. Didn't really unsettle Dashdulam. Managed to fight him off and came out of it unscathed. Now has picked up the single penalty. Almost going over there. Second penalty picked up now by Na, but we're going to get a little bit of a break now as he has to go and have a bit of blood wipe from the nose. Took a bit of a bang there, so. Should be back on the mat in a second, and then we'll be back underway. Meanwhile, Na's teammate, that's now in the blue judogi on the right-hand side of your screen, just waiting for Dashdulam to come back on. Na's teammate still leads by, well, he leads now by 2 scores. Eri Hemubatu of China. Right, we're back underway now. Slow start for this pair. Things will pick up in the next contest anyway. Minute and a half left to go. Both fighters pick up penalties, but Na, that's his third now, so risky situation for him. Yeah, and he lost contact with the left hand. Try for that right-sided Marotte Saonagi low down, but lost contact with the right hand. Dashdulam neatly into the Osai Waza. He's going to take this one. So, Dashdulam Ishdorj from Mongolia goes into the first of the semi-finals. Well, coming up next on mat number 1, it's the quarterfinal in the plus 78 kilo category. Idalis Ortiz of Cuba. She's up against Ichihashi Suzuka of Japan. It's Ortiz in the white judogi, Ichihashi in blue. This is the kind of test that Ortiz needs. Not enough movement from Ortiz here. We've got Ichihashi backed up into that far left-hand corner, but not producing anything from it, neither fighter. There's an attempted Diashi Barai, but really needs to be moving her opponent a little bit more. Couldn't get the feet in the right place for that Nippon Seoinage effort. Yeah, that's what the coach is telling her. Again, feet in the wrong place. Ichihashi picks up penalty for passivity. Needs to get into this.
Sí, con bloqueo, cuando te preocupes, con bloqueo. Enderezate, enderezate. Sí. De nuevo con bloqueo, enderezate. Ahí. Ey, trabaja, trabaja. Desplázate, desplázate. Viene para adelante, sí. Sí, tranquila. Más con bloqueo, más con la pierna, con bloqueo. Desplázate circular.
Cuban coach just being asked to keep quiet during the contest and only coach once mate has been called.
Mira, mira, tenemos un chivo, vamos a sacarle el otro para tener la ventaja. Vamos a sacarle el otro para tener la ventaja de diferencia.
Both fighters pick up penalties. Ichihashi, that's a second one for her. Idalis Ortiz with the slight advantage in having only picked up one penalty. Well, she's had to tap out. Wow. Ortiz. I didn't think that she had the best position, but Ichihashi appeared to have no real defense there. And from a position of relative safety, Ichihashi managed to find some way of giving up the neck, and Ortiz applied the shimiwaza, and it was the Japanese who had to tap out and submit. Ortiz then into the first of the semi-finals. Coming up next, Batulga Munktuya of Mongolia faces Gama Gantogos of Mongolia. Two Mongolians here. Batulga in white, Gama in blue. Now we've got another quarter-final taking place on mat 2. We haven't been down there to have a look at that as yet. I'll just keep you up to date on what's happening there. There you go. That's Odbata Khangal of Mongolia faces Zelim Kotsoyev of Azerbaijan. Odbata in white, Kotsoyev in blue. It's in the under 100 kilo category. But has picked up the single Shido at the moment. Maybe managed to squeeze out the Yuko there. Kotsoyev of Azerbaijan leading by Yuko with 2:20 odd left to go. Yes, Wazari. Neatly done. Odbata getting caught there. 2 scores on the board for Kotsoyev. Threatening again with a minute 20 odd left to go. Well, we're going to pop back to mat number 1 now, because coming up there is one of the quarterfinals in the under 78 kilo category. And that is Purevjagul Khlamded of Mongolia. She faces teammate Bat Bilget Myagmatsend. It's Purevjagul in the white judogi and Bat Bilget in blue. Oh, Purevjagul not hanging around there. Well, we're going to see the plus 100 kilo category for the first time then. Ulzibaya Durenbaya faces Bold Purev Shrugajagul. It's Ulzibaya in the white judogi, Bold Purev in blue. Bolpurev certainly has plenty of size. The difficulty for him is that he's up against Ulzibaya, who's got some techniques about him. And he brings Bolpurev down for Yuko. The sleeves again, but wasn't able to turn his man. Bolpurev has picked up a single Shido, but it's Ulzibaya who we've got our eyes on, having scored Yuko already. Bolpurev picks up a penalty for that negative gripping. Well, gripping infringement anyway, an illegal grip. that'll be Ulzibaya who will pick up the penalty.
The next quarterfinal for women over 78 kilograms, the time 2. In white for Russia, Ekaterina Sheremetova. In blue for Mongolia, Erdene Müller-Gandiman.
Well, he's threatened them a couple of times. Ulzibaya caught him once. Both fighters are penalised again. Bolperev picks up his third penalty. Well, I'm not going to tell him how to fight this one. He's gone over for Wazari this time, and now the Osai Komi. And he's tapped out. Bolperev not up to attempting to get out there, went over for Wazari and then tapped out once the Osai Komi came. Right, coming up next, Lagfasuran Ulaanbaatar of Mongolia faces Yevgeny Ivanov of Russia. I suspect that the Russian is in for a rough ride here, having seen the opening contest. Lagfasuran had a bye into this quarterfinal. Ivanov had to get past Batsaikan Chinggis of Mongolia. Well, got another Mongolian in front of him. I suspect this is going to be a bit of a roughing up here. Lagfasuran is going to prove way too good for him. He's a tall fighter, maybe causing Lagfasuran a couple of awkward moments, but I can't see it lasting, to be honest. We had a good look at Ivanov in his opening contest, and it really wasn't anything to write home about. It was the fitness level, if anything, that got me, and over he goes. First big attack launched by Lagfasuran, and over goes Ivanov. And instead of the Wazari, it's going to be Ippon. Well, you know, that was to be expected. No real surprise with that one. Ivanov not up to that level, and it showed in that contest. It actually showed in the opening contest against Batsaikan, but at least he was taking the distance. The first attack that Lagfasuran launched, well, over he went. And a very good afternoon to Neil.
Yes, good afternoon.
Neil,
good
how
afternoon.
are you doing?
Yeah, good, Sheldon. Very, very, very good. And looking forward to good last day of competition here so far. Judo good.
Going to be some interesting ones. We may yet see something from the Chinese and Azeri, who are about to take to mat number 1 in the under 90 kilo category quarterfinal. Bu Rigada of China faces Firudin Dadashov of Azerbaijan. Bu in the white judogi, Dadashov in... Sorry, Bu in the white judogi, and Dadashov in blue.
The Azerbaijan have put quite a full team out, haven't they? So it's
a few bodies there.
Yeah, quite interesting actually, some of them. Nice Ashy was up, straight off. Want to see more transition from the standing down to ground. I think that's one of the main key points. We were talking about how important it is to have that as part of your randori as well, and you can see the ones that drill it. The ones that hunt the newaza, you know, your Japanese, for example. I mean, there's every time, you know, any of the female Japanese team go down to ground, it's always transitioning from standing and immediately into something that they've drilled on the ground.
Straight onto it.
Well, as always, strong fight for grips. There's that Kouchi. Just looking actually at the final last night for yesterday's the final, and saying that it was a Kouchi Gaki. I think we said, but I think we said Kosoto Gak, and
That's
of
all right,
course it was a massive
yeah.
Kouchi Gak, wasn't it? But we just saw the same there. You know, it's a change of direction. That's going to be a score. Tried to ride that. Wazari scored.
He's had to tap out as well.
Well, that's what we're talking about with the transition. That was terrific transition, that. It really was. Drop Siyanagi.
Who was onto him quickly. I'm not sure what the violent tapping was all about.
No, exactly. It's
thumping them out, wasn't he?
He must have dropped straight into that. We'll have a look at it back in slow motion and just see how he does it.
Dadashov caught cold. It was Wazari up as well.
They're all passionate, aren't they, these Aussie fighters? You know, they come out and they've got just that little bit of attitude, and I guess that's what makes them strong fighters. They don't like losing. Who does? Yeah, so that was the Wazari, and then he felt
so quick.
Well, it was really on, wasn't it? I mean, whatever he fell into there, it was really, really on.
I haven't worked it out yet because he's got the body covered, so I can't see what.
Yeah, drop Siyanagi. Look at that left hand there. The left hand is already round the neck. Yeah, so as he's rolling over there, he's already applying it. You know, then he just gets the leverage with the legs at the end.
The referee's still signalling Wazari, which is, you know, because it's slow motion. He's still signalling Wazari. Might tap in already.
He was tapping for about 25 seconds, I think.
He's giving him a good thumping, wasn't he? Right, we've got the semi-final in the under 100 kilo category. Gan Tufshinjagul of Mongolia faces teammate Dashdalam Ishdorj. It's Gan in the white judogi and Dashdalam in blue. I like Gan Tufshinjagul. Nice, hard fighter. Tough boy. Had to go up from 90 kilos. He couldn't find any room there. Not sure what's going to happen.
Well, it's so competitive, isn't it, in their team? Wow, good Newaza here. Oh, straight into the hold down there, Sheldon. Ooh. Absolutely terrific turnover into the hold down.
Is he ill or something?
Well, I don't know what happened there because that almost looked, just too good to be true there. They don't tap, they don't shake hands at the end of it either. Are we going to see a replay of that? Let's hope we do. Just to see what happened there. It was a good
or something.
Yeah, good transition in. Well, I think they've decided not to show us a replay of that.
It's coming up. We just We'll catch it in a second. In the meantime, we can tell you that the repechage contest in the plus 78 kilo category, it will be a second before they come down because that happens so quickly. So Ichihashi will come down. Here's the action that Neil wants to have a look at.
Well, it starts with the Tomonagi. So then, straight into the turnover, controls the legs.
No, he just got trapped. Rather amateurishly, I'm afraid.
Yeah, that was all over, wasn't it, before it even began?
Ishihachi Suzuka is up against Kama Gantogs of Mongolia, but we're going to go down to mat number 2 because the contest that we want to see down there on mat number 2 is Gantolga of Mongolia up against Eri Hembubatu. We'll be down there in a second.
Well, we've got Ichihashi at the moment. That's on our screens. Gama of Mongolia. Ichihashi just losing by that shimiwaza to the Olympic champion. So now we're over to that quarter-final match, under 90 kilograms. Gantula of Mongolia. Rimu Bantu, his opponent, and this is to get through to the semi-final. 5-minute contest, don't forget, for the men, 4 minutes for the ladies. Oh, looking for the Kosoto there, and he just absolutely walked onto that Uchimata and then directly in to the hold down. It's outside of the area, but that doesn't matter because it started in. Gantuga in the Tatishi Hogatami. And Togata, I think he's got out.
He just managed to trap the leg.
Yeah, he did. He kind of ran onto that Uchimata, tried for the Kosoto there, Chinese. Rimu Batu tried the Kosoto, latched onto the front leg, and that can always be a mistake. 2 Yukos down here. One from the counter and one from the hold down. Gatolga ahead.
I still think we've got something to come from Eri Hemubatu. He showed something in the opening contest.
Yeah, well, he looked dangerous with that Kosoto, but he climbed on top of it. But if you don't really pin the weight onto that front leg, you can find yourself in trouble, of course. That's what happened. That's what he did the first time, exactly that. Just a little bit too high. And Gatolga turned it to his advantage. Like you said, Sheldon, there's plenty of time left in this contest.
2 scores on the board. Gantolga. The key for Eri Hemubatu here is not to panic. Have a look at the clock and work things out. As long as he doesn't go over again.
Yeah, I think it is. It's just working out the balance and the gripping strategies because he's looking for the way in for that Kosoto. If he's going to score with anything, it'll be against Gantolga's right leg. That's what he's looking for.
A stalemate going over on that side. You know, he's stupid. Why would he do, you know?
Yeah, well, exactly. He's going to the wrong leg, and that's where he's getting caught every time. And now, 3 Yukos down. He might be in danger here. Almost got held down earlier on.
I mean, why would you go over and just stay there?
Well, you can't, can you now? That's the point, you know, is you get penalised anyway, so referees could have been on it, giving him a penalty, but yeah, you stay anywhere for too long, they're going to pick you up and they're going to punish you.
Third score on the board for Gantolga. just what I said he didn't want to happen, to give up a third score. And it's almost 2 minutes still there.
Yeah, still plenty of time. That's
He's
it.
got absolutely
That was it. Beautiful, eh?
Yeah.
Yoko Toshi,
gorgeous.
right the way over to the side. And Gantolga well on top of that match. Really nice change of direction there from Gantolga, and a lot of the time it is all about the change of direction.
Right, let's see if we can go down to mat number 1, because coming up on mat number 1 we've got the current Olympic champion Idalis Ortiz of Cuba. She faces Batulga Munktuya of Mongolia, who I believe, oh no, it's the other Odku who's 16, not this one. There's another one.
Well, it's still a great experience against the world and Olympic champion. Doesn't get any better than that. I've got to say that the Cubans just had a difficulty getting here.
Yeah, what a shame.
Literally straight off the plane, Ortiz, into this competition.
And she had to fight the Japanese in the first round.
Yeah, nice little shimmy was that. Koshi
I was
Jimmy.
surprised with. I mean, it didn't look as though she could threaten her from that position. It was a complete start from scratch. You know, no sort of little movement to get in there. She took things from scratch, and I just felt the Japanese, you know,
gave it up a little bit too easy.
Didn't have the strongest defence, did she?
Well, she's coming strong at the right time again, Ortiz.
Yeah.
Just prior to the Olympic Games, and this is a situation where she's just come off training camp. I think were they in Japan?
Japan, yeah.
They were in Japan training, and straight here, a couple of contests under their belt, and you know, it's job done, isn't it, really?
Yeah.
Don't forget that she is defending her Olympic title in Rio de Janeiro.
When was the last women's heavyweight to defend the Olympic title, and if they've ever done it? It's always been a different one, hasn't it? We haven't had
It'll only be Chinese if
we haven't had a double. We haven't had a double Olympic champion at heavyweight women. We've had very few anyway, double Olympic champions. Trying to think back, because in where was it? Was Sydney was a Chinese, Yuan Hua. Athens it was Japanese, Beijing it was Chinese, London it was Cuban. They've had a good sharing around, but it's always been those three countries. It's either Chinese, Japanese, or Cuban. And I can't see it going anywhere else this time.
No, I don't think it will. I think it's going to be exactly there, isn't it?
You know, one of those three wins, and you think, okay, deservedly so.
Well, yeah. I mean, looking at the Chinese, I'm not so sure that they're. I mean, quite often they have the advantage, don't they, of coming in as absolute favourites? But I don't think they are. They're both beatable, aren't they?
We saw that last week.
We
with
did
Caroline
do,
Weiss.
yeah, absolutely. Weiss beat both of them one after another.
Yeah, little Caroline. Yeah.
Couldn't have been good for the Chinese camp, that one.
Well, I'd said to her previously, you know, you can do this, and I swear to God, she never believed me. She did not. Well, actually, no. She didn't believe herself. She didn't believe herself. She didn't believe that she was capable.
No, it was a tall order, wasn't it? I mean, was a tall
Ma
order, you know, to take them
and then
on.
Yu Song.
Both the giants, yeah, absolutely.
Well, I mean, we're not talking about just good heavyweights. We're talking about, as far as the paper is concerned, either one of those, if they send Ma or if they send you, it will be one of those to be favourite, because they're right up there in the rankings, top 5.
They're not going to send me.
Yeah, they're not going to send you. It'll be
Is that what you meant?
not at women's heavyweight, anyway. Goodness me. Well, Idalis Ortiz has had to step off the mat for a moment just to tidy up a little bit of blood, and that gives us a chance to the semi-final down on mat number 2. We may as well wander down there. Now, who we got coming up? It's in the under 100 kilo category. Bayasakan Abaselma of Mongolia. Oh, okay. We're going to stick with Ortiz. She's managed to make her way back to the mat then. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, there's 3 Shidos here up against Batolga. It looks like it's going to end, but I think a little bit of pressure from Ortiz. Drops Sianagi there. She realises she could just get this finished. But I think if I was the Cuban coach, I'd want her to be going, just doing as much mat time as she could possibly do.
Yeah. But the thought was there, wasn't there? The little Ojigari and then the Kosodagari to follow it up, but it was just 2 little foot taps.
She might just get a third Shido here, Ortiz. Watch this one.
Yeah, stepping out.
Yeah, she did. She just drifted out, and so that's 3 all now. So now the pressure's really on. That kind of changes the game a little bit.
Half a minute to go. It's going to want to try and bang her over that left hip.
Yeah, but Batolga now.
Oh, Batolga, a little foot sweep, just slightly more determined than the last time round. Maybe it's beginning to sink in.
Well, the pressure there that Ortiz was putting her under, trying to get her to step out. Got to be a little bit careful with that as well, how much pressure she puts on in case she pushes. If she pushes, she'll get the 4th Shido and not the Mongolian. So she has to be careful at what angle. And I always say that it's the angle. It's a little bit different walking somebody out than pushing. So first golden score of, I think, the day.
I haven't seen one today. Well, maybe it's not necessarily a bad thing for Ortiz. She wants some mat time, or she's, Batolga's given it to her.
I've got to say, I don't think I'd fancy just getting straight off a plane straight onto the mat. So now, all of a sudden, very different Batolga. She kind of needs a little bit of light here. She just ups the pace, ups the ante, just moves. She's got to stay moving. She's also got to rotate with that Sianagi. She cannot afford to do a half rotation. Ortiz got to get on the pace as well. She can't let Batolga climb ahead.
Here comes the hip technique.
Yeah, we've got a different pace now, haven't we? All of a sudden.
That's done.
Yeah, I think she did one of those before. Referee just looks at the top table. He's going to let it go on,
I'm surprised. Didn't come under any pressure. Wasn't an attack.
No, you can't just drop on your knees. Looking for the Ashiwaza all the time, Ortiz, on the way out.
She kind of appears oblivious to the tense nature of the contest here.
Well, like I say, one of them drops off the pace or one false attack.
Yeah.
Especially Batolga. Batolga's already done 2. One more and it'll definitely seal her fate.
Sometimes you wonder what some of the fighters are thinking about. Are they aware of the clock and what's happening?
Well, we've gone 1 150, nearly 2 minutes into golden score, so they've both realised that they have to attack. I think that that's going to be it now. I'm almost sure that rotation there, no hands at all, will be it. I think that's it. Ortiz is going to go through to this final, I think. Oh, he's let it go on. Can you believe that?
I think it's almost by default because they wanted
it's both of them.
They wanted to penalise Ortiz for passivity, but Batorga then comes up with a false attack, and it would have been a bit of a shame for Batorga.
Well,
they probably thought.
Yeah, the potential is, isn't it, that they could give two Shidos out at the same time.
They both go away.
Yeah, both go away. But of course, that's never happened. I mean, we've always seen that possibility, but it's never actually been done. Maybe they should, just to shake them up a bit. Good attack, though. That was a good one. Batulga at least kept hold, and she went through trying to throw Ortiz. So now Ortiz, up to you.
Well, the tactics come down to Batulga now. She's clever. She gets both hands on, pulls around a bit, puts in a big attack and asks for passivity on Ortiz.
Yeah, Ortiz now got to take the initiative. Forcing her out. Well, I think that's going to be it. I think Batulga just drifting out the area there is going to get a fourth penalty.
Korean referee just keeping everyone on tenterhooks here.
Well, I think also Batulga thinking, well, he might just forget about this if I take my time doing this. Almost for sure this is going to be it, I think.
Force attack?
I think it was going out the area. She drifted out the area. And like I say, it was halfway between, was Ortiz.
We'll have a bit more.
Look at that. It's gonna 7 minutes into this contest.
You know, the real benefit here is for Ortiz. She's getting plenty of mat time.
Oh, it's just absolutely perfect. Couldn't have written it better. If I was the Cuban coach, I couldn't have written a scenario better than this. Especially with not so many in the category.
Yeah, come and work for it.
Yeah,
there
so
we go.
Two contests all in one.
Missed out there, yeah.
Drop Cianegi again from Ortiz. Well, I can't understand it. They're starting to blow.
3:46.
Yeah, so two contests in one for Ortiz. It's a coach's dream, a player's nightmare, isn't it? It really is.
Missed with that Uchimata effort. She was losing balance, falling off to one side.
So tell me what the longest golden score.
I can't remember.
I think I saw one about 7 minute golden score. Of course, potentially it can go on and on if they're attacking within the given time.
Yeah, she picks up a passivity penalty, and it's Ortiz who wins out there.
8 minutes.
Right then, what we got coming up for you next? We'll stay here because there's a quarter-final in the plus 100 kilo category. Ulzibaya Durenbaya of Mongolia faces Dmitry Shterkov of Russia. It's Ulzibaya in the white, judogi Shterkov in blue.
Shterkov in blue, and Shterkov number 2 heavyweight in Russia at the moment.
I think
they've got a few out, haven't they? They've got a few that we've seen on the international circuit.
Kambiev, maybe, might be ahead of him.
That was close. Oh, Chigari there from Sturkov, and almost ran onto a pickup. So he'll have to go in a little bit harder than that. I think that Ulzibaya is just going to wait for him. That's got to be a penalty, surely. They went right the way outside the area there. They have to penalise on the edge. If they don't penalise on the edge, then it runs riot, and then they just start drifting out whenever they want. It's a couple of times now I've seen it, and they've just been a little bit lax on the edge. We had a stage when they reintroduced the edge play, the fact that because it was a little bit lax, everybody was stepping out just whenever. The contests were lasting almost twice as long. So then they brought back the edge, and everybody that stepped out or even thought about stepping out would get penalised. So now they've got a kind of a happy medium, but they've got to do the Shido rule on the edge. They have to get them to stay within that yellow area.
Yeah, Sturkov has been off the pace for a while as far as the heavyweights are concerned. It's Saidov, Renate Saidov, and then Kambiev, and then Volkov. After that, well, not a great deal.
And Saidov is the Olympic
he's the
representative.
Man, yeah. He's going to go. He probably will when he gets there. He'll go over. They haven't really had not since, well, Mikhailin was their last,
Yeah, I mean, Mikhailin did well, didn't he,
yeah,
against Renier. He wanted to fight. Renier just wanted to win, but we knew that. But I mean,
before that, Tumenov.
Yeah, Tumenov was great for me. I like Tumenov.
Yeah.
So one Shido each. Looking for that Kosoto on the outside, Sturkov. But he's got to be careful he doesn't just run onto a massive hip technique of Ulzibaya. He wants that hip right the way across there. That grip that he's got underneath that arm. Certainly if I was Sturkov, I wouldn't want that. Well, it kind of suits both fighters. The Mongolian wants to hold round the back and Sturkov wants to hold over the top. It all depends on who initiates their technique first here. Two penalties up there to Ulzibaya. He's the one that's got to come forwards.
Yeah, Sturkov has been out for nearly 3 years. That's why he doesn't feature in that list of Russian heavyweights. He's disappeared off our radar as far as the world ranking list is concerned. Last competed in July 2013 at the Moscow Grand Slam, so a good long while ago. Beginning to look like that.
Yeah, it
ring
is,
rusty, ring rusty.
You can see it, can't you? The technique's just not there.
He looks very tired. And still a minute 20 odd left to go.
Well, I think it's going to go away from him now, isn't it, for sure. There's the second penalty. Ulzibaya now starting to pile the pressure on. This is where he's got to be careful of the hips coming across here. Ulzibayar wants to throw those hips right the way across.
Well, the initial movement looked as though it could offer more, but he very, very quickly bailed out of it and just said,
it's just going in, isn't it? Just daring to do it.
See, if Ulzibayar had any strength about him, he'd be able to throw Sterkov, but he's draining as well, quickly.
Yeah, just really poor hands there. No second sleeve, no sleeve grip, no Kazushi. Third penalty up there to Sterkov.
Odd seconds left to go. See, that first movement to get into the technique promises more, and then all of a sudden he just collapses.
Well, we do so much, don't we, on the Kazushi, the importance of the hands and the grips. And this is just really poor hands from both the fighters, actually. Just one-handed attacks from Ulzibayar.
I mean, that shouldn't knock you off your feet, should it?
No, I know he's kind of breaking his balance. He's getting away with it, but it's... I think Koga was the only one I saw that could do a one-handed technique really well.
Again, he's just turning his body, and Sterkov can't stay on his feet. You know, he's picked up 3 penalties. Ulzibayar just the 2, and it's the Mongolian with the advantage. He's going to be the man to go into the semi-final. Meanwhile, on mat number 2, Od Kujavsma of Mongolia has just thrown Ekaterina Sheremetova for Wazari in their semi-final in the plus 78 kilo category. So one Mongolian going through on the back of those penalties, and the other Mongolian in the plus 78 kilo category leading by Wazari. We've got coming up next, then we can stay here. It's an all Mongolian matchup in the under 78 kilo category. The first of the semi-finals. Purevjagl Klemded of Mongolia faces teammate Munk Erdana Uganjagl. It's Purevjagl in the white judogi and Munk Erdana in blue. Purevjagl took time out after London to have a baby.
Well, I looked very confident, didn't she, in her first round match? I mean, just, you know, you can tell just the way that they walk out that they expect and to win. And she was the superior in that match. She's got the same kind of stance here, although a little bit more urgency in her step.
And if hubby's in the arena with the baby, Sanjagal Niyamochi, he's dad.
Another judoka.
Yeah.
So big arm over the top. That's what happened in the first round. Uchimata decided that one. So now looking for the turnover, Purevjagl. Looking for that wrap again. All of the Mongolians trying the turnover. Hindward roll or the wrap.
Purevjagl, by the way, is going to the game. She got the continental quota spot, so she's off to the games. Yelenis Castillo of Cuba, she got the continental quota spot And those are unseeded fighters. Perev Jargol, Castillo,
So she's just going to go into the mix, Pure of Jargol, when she goes to
Zhang,
the
Chinese,
Olympics.
Zhang Ziwei, Yo Abigail, and Sol Kyung. And they're all unseeded. Someone's going to get drawn against a toughie first round.
Yeah, it is. And it happens at the Olympics. You know, you can have a couple of matches that are not so strong, but you can also end up with a real tough one first.
29 years old. Perev Jargol. She's been to 1 Olympic Games. Fancy's going to another 5th at the World Championships a while back. A 5th place finish.
Well, Monk Eden doing a good job here, just managing to tie her down. But over the top now, Yuko scored there. Pure and Jargol, can she get the leg out? So it gets changed to a Wazari. One of the biggest advantages that we have, of course, is having that top table, isn't it? You know, you can be an advantage, can be a disadvantage. Anything controversial, we can get it looked at. Look, she needs to tie up the top half here and get this leg out. This is a situation, Japanese absolutely brilliant at taking this leg out, and I think because they work just that little bit harder, they change their hips. That's the difference there. Pure Jargol wasn't moving her hips to try and get that leg out or changing her body position. Into the last minute, she likes that arm over the top. That's what she's after. Got to attack straight away. Can't cross grip like that without attacking straight away. Remember when they changed that particular rule again, Abigail really suffered from it because that's all she did. We've got Honso Kamaki, I think, about 3 or 4 times in the Paris tournament. Yeah, it was. It was just a disaster for her. That's going to turn into the hold down. Look at that. Straight into the hold down. Osai Komi. 12 seconds left on the clock. She got a Yuko as well from the other score, and just a job of work for Pure Jargol. She's going to go through to the final here. Just 2 Mongolians that she's had to fight, so it's almost a bit of a domestic match for Pure Jargol. Who's the other possibility there Sheldon?
It's either Park Eugene of Korea or Brigitte Matic of Croatia. And we could wander down to mat number 2. Yeah, let's go down to mat number 2 if we can and pick up the contest between Park Eugene of Korea. She faces Brigitte Matic of Croatia. It's Park in the white judogi, Matic in blue. There's no score yet. Nelson is on the board as far as the clock is concerned, 1-1-1, but that's going to change now. Let's see how they get on. Park in the white judogi, Matic in blue, and Park now picks up that penalty. There you go. Well, we saw Barbara Matic yesterday, didn't we? She was on the podium, picked up a bronze medal. I wonder what her sister can do today. This is the younger sister, but she's in the weight above.
Yeah, well, we've got a chance here into the last minute. Just a Shido in it, but ahead. Trying to change the direction there for the Sumigaeshi.
Sloppy, wasn't it?
Yep. Just not enough. Well, not hard enough. Just not strong enough with the grips.
Almost coming up with the score there. A good long look at it. 20 odd seconds left to go. Let's see how strong Matic is in the grips to fight off the oncoming Korean.
Nearly all over, isn't it?
We'll just watch the last few seconds of this and then we'll go up to mat number 1. Yeah, Matic it is. So there's the answer. That's who Purev Jagol will face in the final. Right. Semi-final of the under 90 kilo category. Khlagvasuren Ulaanbaatar of Mongolia faces Bu Rigida of China. It's Khlagvasuren in the white judogi, Bu in blue. Made it a little bit easier.
Bu in blue.
Yeah.
I like that.
It's really difficult when you call his name first in white. Because then when you come back you think, well, I've already called blue already.
Now then, that's going to be a score, is it?
He's kind of pulled him on top of
He
himself
did. Now,
first.
straight in for the Juji.
Yeah,
That arm, is he going to come out?
Yeah,
Yes, it
he's
is.
too strong. There was something about him that looked really strong. When he got that arm in, that's going to come out.
Khlagvasuren knew what he wanted,
Yeah.
didn't he? And I think it was, to get that arm out straight. Good performance from him, straight the way through. Well, like you say, I was talking about it earlier about having direction in Newaza, and he really did have direction there. He knew exactly what he wanted, and he attacked it. And that's the key, is to attack it.
It just looked so dangerous. You know, it was as though he knew that he had the ability to pull that off, and it was, you know, he was held onto his elbow, a little bit of defence, but no.
Yeah, we're just looking at it on another screen here, how he went in for the Jujigatau meet and just pulls him on. I thought that was a score, actually. I really do. They didn't give the score for it. And then straight in for the arm and took it out.
In the meantime, we've got Bolpurev Shugarjagol of Mongolia up against Dmitry Sterkov. He didn't take long before he was back on the mat. Sterkov, I wonder what kind of fitness level he's got, because he was blowing plenty. He may not need it against Sweets.
He might not.
It's a big fella. That's his nickname.
I'm not even going to go there. I'm not even going to ask you why. No, and I don't think we should say it either.
Yeah, I'm gonna. He's had them all. Single Shido against Bolpurev at the moment. 185 kilos he was this morning. That was before breakfast.
Well, we should really see them. They have to attack. Superior weight, obviously, can work against them, and they've got to work on their feet, obviously. And there's a nice attack there. You know, he can attack. He's got some nice judo. Just put the attacks in.
I think the thing that lets him down is he goes over easily. You know, if somebody comes up with a big, powerful technique, he's very difficult to get off it. He does get rolled over, but it's his immobility. He's not mobile, you know. And somebody moving him around the mat. See, Sterkov almost catches him with the counter there.
Well, he did do, didn't he? But at least he was attacking, you know, and that's the good thing. Oh, Pirov
He's throwable.
Put in the Kosoto. Somebody's going to go here. Good change of direction. Certainly fighting a lot better in this one, Bolpurov. Yeah. He really is. At least he's taking the fight.
As well.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's a nice little Kosotogaki attempt there. But you see, you see his difficulty. He managed to. It was a long way. It was a long stretch. He hooked in, and a lighter guy he may have been able to bring down, but that's a lot of weight to move, and he needed all the power to bring. In the top half of the body, he just didn't have it. Oh, quality
that was quality. Oh, Garuma.
I mean, any heavyweight would have been proud of that. That was a real smacking.
The funny thing was, I was on the top table with all the top officials from Mongolia, and they were a bit angry with this first fight because they
didn't deliver.
The other youngster, Mongolian youngster, dropped underneath him with the drop Sianagi. Didn't attack. But look at this. Yeah. Quality Oguruma there. Look at that. Straight onto that.
As well.
Whips him across.
He gets himself into a nice position where the right leg goes across, and then he knows he's got to work on the top half finish, which he does. That right arm.
Oh, he just took him right the way down.
The right hand, Right hand comes in nicely here.
It's just a slight spinning movement there. Look, he does almost a 180-degree turn, complete there. The Russian had no chance.
He got well and truly banged.
Yeah, like you said, it was quality.
Well, it's been a slightly more subdued morning, but as we've said on both the previous days, it really does take off in the final block. We just had a few, snippets of action there.
Yeah, that
to
was
give
a
you a taste
magic
of what's
one
coming.
just to finish off with, wasn't it? An absolutely classical Oguruma by the heaviest competitor, but showed that he can move and he can throw.
Well, we're going to see Ulzibaya in the plus 100 kilo category. We'll see Sterkov again in the bronze medal match. We'll see Sugar Jargle. We've got Ortiz, the Olympic champion. We've got a few bodies to have a look at. Under 78 kilo category, Klamded Purev Jargle. We're going to see her as well. So, yeah, and Lagvasurin. I think Lagvasurin, that's going to be nice to look at.
And I think you're right. I think all of our final sessions so far have been absolutely magnificent.
Why not this afternoon?
Absolutely.
We're going to take a break now for 2.5 hours. We've got a break for 2.5 hours.
We'll be back.
We'll look forward to seeing you at 5 o'clock. Neil and I will be back then. It's bye-bye for now.
Bye for now.